Let's look at our first exam question. In this question, they ask us to solve for x in each of the following. And if we look at the first equation, we have 3x squared minus 5x minus 1 equals 0. And they say that we have to leave our answers correct to 2 decimal places. Now, this is actually a hint that tells us that we are going to use the quadratic formula to solve this equation. So if we write down 3x squared minus 5x minus 1 equals 0, a is the coefficient of x squared, and that's 3. B is the coefficient of x, that's negative 5. And c is equal to negative 1, the constant in the equation. And now we write down the quadratic formula. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And this formula is on your formula sheet. So make sure that you write down the formula correctly. Now we put the values a, b, and c into this equation. And that is negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared. And note, I put the negative 5 in brackets to make sure that the negative is squared as well. And then we have minus 4 times 3 times negative 1. And all of this will be divided by 2 times 3. And if we simplify this, it gives us 5 plus or minus the square root of 37 divided by 6. Now this means that you actually have two answers. The one answer is x equals 5 plus the square root of 37 over 6. Or the second answer is x equals 5 minus the square root of 37 over 6. And now we have to calculate the decimal answers and round this to 2 decimal places. And the first value is 1,85 and the second value is negative 0.18. Now this question counted 3 marks. You get 1 mark for the correct substitution, 1 mark for the first answer, and 1 mark for the second answer. Let's look at the second question, 1.1.2. Here we have the quadratic equation, x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. And now we are first going to try and factorize the left-hand side of the equation. So let's look at positive 8. The factors of positive 8, the constant in the equation is 1 times 8 or 2 times 4. The factors that we are going to use is 2 and 4, and the reason is if we take negative 2 and we subtract 4, it gives us negative 6, the coefficient of x in the equation. So that means the quadratic expression on the left-hand side can be factorized as x minus 4 times x minus 2. And now we put each of these factors equal to 0. So we have x minus 4 equals 0 or x minus 2 equals 0. And if we solve both of these equations, it gives us that x is equal to 4 or x is equal to 2. And for this question, you also get 3 marks. You get 1 mark for the correct factors, 1 mark for x equals 4, and 1 mark for x equals 2. In the next question, we have an inequality that we need to solve, and the inequality is 4x minus 2x squared less than 0. There are two options that we can use to solve this inequality. In the first option, we use the inequality as it is given to us, and then we factorize the left-hand side, that is 2x times 2 minus x in brackets. And now if we look at the coefficient of x squared, it is negative 2, and the negative means that if we draw the parabola of this expression, the parabola will have a maximum value or it will be open downwards. And if we look at 2x times 2 minus x, we can use this to find the critical values. And the critical values are the values for which 2x times 2 minus x will be equal to 0. So that will give us the roots of the parabola. And if we take 2x and we put it equal to 0, it gives us x equals 0 as the solution. And if we take 2 minus x and we put that equal to 0, it gives us the second critical point as x equals 2. And now if you go and look at the inequality, it says that 4x minus 2x squared is less than 0. And less than 0 means the section of the parabola that is below the x-axis. So if you look at the parabola here, the sections below the x-axis are the sections colored in blue, and these sections will have x values that are less than 0 or greater than 2. And both 0 and 2 are excluded because the inequality is strictly less than 0. So the solution for this inequality is then x less than 0 or x greater than 2. In the second option, we take the inequality and we first make the coefficient of x squared positive. So we can rewrite 4x minus 2x squared less than 0 as negative 2x squared plus 4x less than 0. And if we divide all the terms by a negative, the inequality is going to flip, and this will become 2x squared minus 4x greater than 0. And now we factorize the left-hand side of and that gives us 2x times x minus 2 in brackets greater than 0. And now we need to draw a sketch, but in this inequality, the coefficient of x squared is positive. So if we draw the parabola now, it's going to have a minimum value, or it's going to be open upwards. And now we also need to determine the critical point. So we take 2x, put it equal to 0, and that gives us x is 0. And if we take x minus 2 equals 0, it gives us x equals 2. And now the critical points are 0 and 2. And if we look at the inequality, it now says greater than 0. And greater than 0 are those sections of the parabola that are above the x-axis, and they are colored in blue, and these sections will have x values or x coordinates that are less than 0 or greater than 2, and therefore we get the same solution, x less than 0 or x greater than 2. This question counted 4 marks, and for both of the options you get 1 mark for the correct factor, 1 mark for the correct method, 1 mark for x less than 0, and 1 mark for x greater than 2. Question 1.1.4. In this question, we have the square root of 2x plus 5 minus 3 over the square root of 2x plus 5 equals negative 2. And we need to solve for x. Now, if we look at the equation, we have square root 2x plus 5 over here and in the denominator of the fraction. And the easiest way to solve this is to make use of the k method. So what we do is we let k be equal to the square root of 2x plus 5. And then this equation changes to k minus 3 over k equals negative 2. And this equation is a lot simpler to solve. To get rid of the fraction in the equation, we multiply each term by k, and then this becomes k squared minus 3 equals negative 2k. Then we write it in standard form, and that is k squared plus 2k minus 3 equals 0. And this can be factorized as k plus 3 times k minus 1 equals 0. Then we put each of the factors equal to 0. So k plus 3 is equal to 0, or k minus 1 is equal to 0. And that gives us 2 solutions for k. k is equal to -3 or k is equal to 1. But now we go back to what k is equal to. K is equal to the square root of 2x plus 5. So this means then that the square root of 2x plus 5 is either equal to -3 or it is equal to positive 1. Now if we look at the first equation, the square root of 2x plus 5 equals -3. We have a positive square root on the left-hand side, and it is impossible for a positive square root to be equal to a negative number. So that means the first equation has no solution. If we look at the second equation, square root of 2x plus 5 equals to positive 1. We can first get rid of the square root by squaring both sides of the equation, and then 2x plus 5 is equal to positive 1. And if we solve this equation, we get then that x is equal to -2. Let's look at the mark allocation for this question. This question counted 6 marks. You get 1 mark for changing the equation to a quadratic equation. Then you get 1 mark for the correct factors, 1 mark for k equals 3 or k equals 1. Then you get 1 mark for no solution, 1 mark in the second equation for squaring both sides of the equation, and then 1 mark for x equals -2. In question 1.2, we need to solve for x and y simultaneously. And that means we need to find the values of both x and y that satisfies both of the given equations. And the equations are y plus x equals 2 and x squared plus 3xy plus 8 equals 0. Now let's first look at the linear equation that's given to us, y plus x equals 2. Now in this equation you can isolate either y or x and then put this expression into the second equation. In this example I am going to isolate y. Y is then equal to 2 minus x, and I label this equation, equation 1, and the quadratic equation, equation 2. And now we put 1 into equation 2, so this then becomes x squared plus 3x times y, but y is equal to 2 minus x plus 8 equals 0. And now we need to simplify this equation. On the left-hand side, we can simplify the brackets, and this becomes x squared plus 6x minus 3x squared plus 8 equals 0. Then we can combine the like terms. X squared minus 3x squared becomes -2x squared, and then we can divide all the terms by -2, and that gives us x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0. Now we can factorize the left-hand side of the equation. This then becomes x minus 4 times x plus 1 equals 0. And if we take x minus 4 equals 0, it gives us the solution x equals 4. And for x plus 1 equals 0, x is equal to -1. But we are not finished. We now have the two values for x, and now we have to put these values into equation 1 to determine the values for y. So if x is equal to 4, y is then equal to 2 minus 4, and that gives us y is equal to -2. And if x is equal to -1, y is equal to 2 minus -1, and that gives us y is equal to 3. Now this answer actually shows us the points of intersection of the two functions, y plus x equals 2 and x squared plus 3xy plus 8 equals 0. So we can write this then as for -2 or -1, 3. This question counted 6 marks. You get 1 mark for y equals 2 minus x, 1 mark for the correct substitution, 1 mark for the standard form of the equation, 1 mark for the correct factors, or you could also use the quadratic formula, 1 mark for both the x values and 1 mark for both the y values. Question 1.5. We are given the following equation: p plus 1 in brackets x squared plus 2px plus p plus 2 in brackets equals 0. And the first question asks us to determine the value of p if the roots of the equation are equal. For equal roots, the discriminant of the equation has to be equal to 0. So first of all, we are going to determine the discriminant of this equation, and the discriminant is equal to b squared minus 4ac. And if we look at the equation, a is the coefficient of x squared, that's p plus 1. B is the coefficient of x, that's 2p, and c is the constant, and in this case it's p plus 2. And now we put this into the formula, so we have 2p in brackets squared minus 4 times p plus 1 in brackets times p plus 2 in brackets. And now we need to simplify this expression, so we can start by multiplying p plus 1 and p plus 2. That gives us p squared plus 3p plus 2. And if we simplify this, it gives us 4p squared minus 4p squared minus 12p minus 8. And this simplifies to negative 12p minus 8. So this is the discriminant, but for equal roots, like we said, it has to be equal to 0. So now we put negative 12p minus 8 equals to 0. Then p is equal to negative 8 over 12. And if we simplify this, we get p is equal to negative 2 over 3. So for equal roots, the value of p has to be negative 2 over 3. Let's look at the mark allocation. You get 1 mark for the correct substitution into the discriminants formula, 1 mark for negative 12p minus 8, then 1 mark for the discriminant equal to 0, and then lastly 1 mark for p equals negative 2 over 3. In question 1.5.2, we need to determine the value or values of p, where p is not equal to negative 1, so that the above equation has roots which are real, rational, and unequal. The reason why they say that p is not equal to negative 1 is simply because if p is equal to negative 1, the coefficient of x squared will be equal to 0, and this will no longer be a quadratic equation. For roots which are real, rational, and unequal, the discriminant has to be strictly greater than 0. So that means the discriminant that we've already determined, negative 12p minus 8, has to be greater than 0. And now we simply solve this inequality. Negative 12p is then greater than positive 8. And if we divide both sides by negative 12, the inequality flips, and p is then less than 8 over negative 12, and this then simplifies to negative 2 over 3. So the above equation will have roots which are real, rational, and unequal if p is less than negative 2 over 3. This question counted 2 marks. You get 1 mark for the discriminant greater than 0, and then 1 mark for the final answer. In this question, we need to determine the value or values of x for which the following expression, the cube root of x squared plus 4 over 9 minus x, first of all, has real values or a real value. A real value means that you have to be able to simplify this expression. A square root will have a real value as an answer, if the expression under the square root is positive. Now, if we look at the expression under the square root, we have 9 minus x in the denominator and x squared plus 4 in the numerator. Now, this simply means that 9 minus x has to be positive. And the reason for that is the numerator, x squared plus 4, is always positive because you have x squared, that's always positive, plus a positive number 4. So this expression will then be positive if 9 minus x is positive. So we write down the inequality, 9 minus x greater than 0. Then negative x will be greater than negative 9. And if we divide both sides by a negative, the inequality flips and therefore x is less than 9. So the expression has a real value then if x is less than 9. Then question 1.1.2. For which values of x is this expression not defined? A fraction is not defined or undefined if the denominator equals 0. So that means the expression will be undefined if 9 minus x equals 0. And if we solve the equation, x is equal to 9. So the expression then will be undefined if x is equal to 9. Then question 1.1.3. Given x is equal to 1, is the expression rational or irrational? And validate your answer with an appropriate calculation. Rational numbers, you will remember, are numbers that can be written as fractions, and in decimal form, it's either a finite decimal or a decimal that is recurring. And an irrational number is a number that has a decimal that is not finite and not recurring. So if we take x equals 1 and we put that into the expression, we get the square root of 1 squared plus 4 over 9 minus 1, and that equals the square root of 5 over 8. And if we determine the answer of this on our calculators, we get 0.790569415 and so on. So this decimal answer is not finite and it is not recurring. And therefore, if x is equal to 1, the expression is irrational. Then lastly, question 1.1.4. Determine a value for x where the expression will yield a recurring decimal value. So that's actually a rational value. And one value that we can use here is x equals 0, and that's also the easiest value. If we put 0 into the expression, we have 0 squared plus 4 over 9 minus 0. This simplifies to the square root of 4 over 9, and this is equal to 2 over 3. And in decimal form, it is 0.6 recurring. So this expression will yield a recurring decimal value if x is equal to 0. Let's look at the mark allocation. Each of these questions counted 1 mark only, and you get 1 mark in 1.1.1 for x less than 9, 1 mark for x equals 9 in 1.1.2, 1.1.3, 1 mark for irrational, and in 1.1.4, 1 mark for x equals 0. In this next question, we are going to see how to solve real-life problems. The diagram below shows an oval piece of land that Eli acquired for his poultry project. He decides to use the biggest possible rectangular piece of land out of the entire piece. The rectangular piece will have a length of 2x meters and a breadth of y meters as shown. And here you can see the oval, and inside is the shaded rectangle ABCD. The length of the rectangle is 2x and the breadth of the rectangle is y. Very important when we read through the question is that it says he decides to use the biggest possible rectangular piece of land. This then means that you have to set up a quadratic expression, and then you could either use completing of squares or the equation of the symmetry axis of a parabola to determine the maximum value of the quadratic expression. So let's look at the first question. In the first question, they ask us to show that the area A of the rectangle can be written as A equals 280x minus 4x squared, given that the perimeter of the rectangle is 280 meters. They gave us in the sketch that the length of the rectangle is 2x and the breadth is y. And the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the breadth. So that means then that 280, the perimeter, is equal to 2 times 2x plus 2 times y. And now we are going to take this equation and we are going to isolate y. And the reason for that is that the area of the rectangle is given in terms of x. So we first isolate 2y, and 2y is then going to be equal to 280 minus 4x. Then we divide by 2, and that gives us that y is equal to 140 minus 2x. Now we can determine the area, and the area of a rectangle is given by the formula length times breadth. And we know that the length is 2x, and the breadth y is equal to 140 minus 2x. So we take 2x and we multiply it by 140 minus 2x. And when we simplify this, it gives us the expression in the question. A is then equal to 280x minus 4x squared. This question counted 3 marks, and you get marks for the following. 1 mark for the correct substitution into the formula of the parameter, 1 mark for the simplification of the equation, then you get 1 mark for 2x times 140 minus 2x in brackets. Let's look now at the rest of the question. In the next question, they ask us to determine the maximum possible area that the rectangle can occupy. As I've said in the previous slide, to determine the maximum possible area, there are 2 possible methods. First of all, you can rewrite the quadratic expression for the area in completed square form, and from there you can determine the maximum possible area. Or you can make use of the equation of the symmetry axis and then determine the maximum area. So let's look at the first method. The fact that the coefficient of x squared is negative means that the parabola is going to have a maximum value. And if we take this equation and we want to rewrite this in completed square form, we have to do the following. First of all, we take out the negative 4 to make the coefficient of x squared 1. And then we have negative 4 times x squared minus 70x. Then we take the coefficient of x, the negative 70. We divide it by 2 and we square the answer. And the square of negative 35 is 1225. This we are going to add to the expression in the brackets and subtract from the expression in the brackets. And since you add and subtract, you are not changing the value of the expression. Then we take the first 3 terms in the brackets, and this can be factorized then as x minus 35 in brackets squared, and then outside the bracket minus 1225. Lastly, we multiply the negative 4 into the square brackets, and that then gives us negative 4 times x minus 35 in brackets squared plus 4,900. The maximum area is given by the y coordinate of the maximum point or the turning point, and that is the 4,900. That then means that the maximum area for this rectangle is 4,900 square meters. For this method, you get 3 marks for the following: 1 mark for correctly completing the square, 1 mark for the plus 4,900, and 1 mark for the correct conclusion. Let's now look at the second method. For the second method, we can use the formula for the symmetry axis of a parabola and first determine the x-coordinate of the maximum point. The equation is x equals minus b over 2a, and if you look at the expression of the area, a is the coefficient of x squared, that's negative 4, and b is the coefficient of x, and that's 280. So if we put these values into the formula, it gives us negative 280 over 2 times negative 4, and this simplifies to positive 35 meters. And this is the x-coordinate of the maximum point or the turning point. And now we just need to determine the y-coordinate, and we do that by putting the value of x into the formula for the area. That then gives us 280 times 35 minus 4 times 35 squared. And this also gives us an answer of 4,900 square meters. Let's look at the mark allocation for this method. You get 1 mark for the correct method, 1 mark for 35 meters, and then 1 mark for the final answer, 4,900 square meters.